Hi there, welcome back to Journal Chat Live on Rhomany's Realm. I'm Rhomany. Hello. You can't see me because I can't switch cameras. I'm going to have to try and figure out how to do that. This is the second part. I've already done one part where we started working on this and I showed you some of my other work. This is just a colouring book, Steampunk Fashions colouring book. It's the new one. And instead of taking the pieces out and putting them in my art journal, I thought I'd bring my art journal in and put it in my colouring book. Oh, Daniela. Hi, Daniela. Plolling. Is that right? Or is it the other Daniela? Oh, anyway. Yeah, this is just collage, and I put some washi tape on because these pages are removable. So they literally have perforations in them, and that's as far as we got. Plonninger. Oof. Daniela P. I knew who you were there anyway. So the next thing I want to do before I get back into doing some more of her, the next thing I want to do is just get some background colours going, because there's a lot of clashing colours. I mean, it doesn't show up on the stream. You can't see the colours like I can. For instance, both these hairs. Her hair is actually the same colour as mine. It's rose madder, and her hair is like pink flamingo. So you can't see what her hair looks like, but there's a lot of clashing colours because I haven't toned it down yet. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to grab there's my Sharpie I was looking for earlier. I'm going to grab, what are we going to use? I want a green, but I want a minty green. I don't think I've got a minty green. Oh yes, I have. Soft Sage, that's a minty green. There's a minty green, so we'll have a light minty green. And I've got a darker green over here. This is leaf green, which goes with her jacket rather well. So we can add a little bit of that colour over here. And I want a kind of a beigey tone, creamy beigey tone. I don't know if that might be too light. Mocha. Dark mocha, there we go. So there's light mocha, medium mocha and dark mocha, and I've got the dark mocha. That's a bit more, yeah, that's a bit more like it. You have to excuse me coughing. I don't know what's up with my throat, but it's really dry and phlegmy today. Coffee's hot. Coffee's hot. Coffee's hot. Okay, so I'm just using a craft sheet here, and I'm giving my paints a really good shake because they're brand new. These are my deco art paints that came in because I'm a deco art helping artist. I've got some deco art paints to show you. These are the Americanas, which I've not used before. I've used the satin ones, but I haven't used the Americana ones, and I've used the crafters acrylic. I've got the crafters acrylic in the flesh tones, but I've not used these before, so yes. So I'm just going to put a little dollop of green, dark green. I don't want too much dark green. I just want to add some into the mint. Want some. I think we're probably going to use mostly sage because I think that's slightly transparent. I'm not sure, but it might be. Some of these are transparent and some of them aren't, so it's difficult. Hi Claire, welcome back. It's difficult because you've got to figure out which ones are which. Some of them are transparent and some of them are not. Some of them are semi-transparent, some of them are semi-opaque. I think all of these might be opaque actually. Okay. Now, I've just been gluing with this brush, but I'm going to use it for painting as well because the medium one I normally use, I've got one in between this and one in between this. Like, it's like that kind of size, but I broke it. It's dead. I have one this size, but it's in this is a watercolour brush. So obviously I can't use my watercolour brush for acrylic. I should have another one somewhere actually. Where's my other brush? Should have one with a green handle somewhere as well, but that seems to have gone walkabout. Anyway. So all I'm going to do is blend the collage. Oh, excuse me. Blend the collage into the background. You know, it's not anything you haven't seen done before. Like I said earlier, I've been watching, because I do believe in credit where credit's due. You know, I've been watching Dee Dee Willingham over on Enquiries because she does acrylic painting as well, but she does acrylic and collage journal art, but she's a lot less messy than other people. So yeah, I like the way she works because it's not mucky painting. It's, you know, with a paintbrush. So I'm just going to add, basically going to look at what was on here and say, okay, what do I need to pull out? So this is green. So if I put him in sage, he's not going to stand out. So I'll use the mocha around him. And I'm not going to do anything too fussy. I'm just going to whack it on, because we can always tidy it up later. A little bit of water on my brush. Use kind of a wash rather than just, oh, that's better. There we go. Because I'm used to working with watercolour, it's just easier for me to use a wash kind of effect than proper acrylic painting effects. Is that cheating? Yes, what's everybody doing while they're watching? Are you playing in your journals? Are you just watching and chilling? And are you in the UK? Do you have snow? Or over in Illinois, they've got snow as well. Carrie from Dispatches from the Frat House was telling me this morning they've got 8 inches of snow and it's still coming down. So yeah, I'm not fussy painting, I'm just I can fussy paint later. I just want to get the colours in roughly the areas that I want them. So I'm going to put some darker colour down here, I think. I kind of want this bit beigey. Maybe a bit of mint green in that area as well. You can see, because I'm using a wash, you can actually see what's underneath quite easily. So I can actually paint over what I've got on here. I'm not going to fussy paint around her up just yet either. I'll deal with that later. But I can't get paint on her because she's watercolour and I haven't finished her yet. So I need to get back in with this and do a bit more. Now, because that's a little trick I picked up from Dee Dee, because that's wet and it's got matte medium over it, I can take off some of the paint from the collage pieces if I want to, and bring out the collage patterns a little bit more. See? That's cool, isn't it? I'm not an acrylic artist, okay? I'm just playing. This is me playing. I'm not teaching you anything. I'm just playing. You don't have snow, Claire? Oh, you're down south though, aren't you? Yeah, my parents didn't get snow either. We've got snow. We had 4 inches last night and it's still settled, but it's crunchy, crispy, kind of frozen snow now. It's a little bit treacherous underfoot, actually. I shall have to be careful when I take the dogs out later. To dig out my torch. I want to put a little bit of dark green around the outsides because that will bring in, kind of frame the edges without framing the edges, if you get what I mean. So I'm just going to blend that out. So I'm doing it quite messy. The painting is messy, but I'm not getting messy, you see. I can't stand getting dirty and messy, and whoops, got a little bit on her hat there. But the good thing is with these matte acrylics, you can colour over it with colour pencil. So if I get a little bit where I get a tiny bit of acrylic on it and I need to take it off or I need to cover it up, obviously I won't be able to do that with watercolour because the acrylics are water resistant. But I can use a little bit of colour pencil just to patch up that one little bit. I hadn't planned on doing her in colour pencil, but actually now I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking maybe I might. Maybe I may add a bit more colour pencil in there, give her a bit more depth, and I don't know, I was quite happy doing her in watercolour until I had this crazy idea to turn her into an art journal page, and now look where we are. Now look what a mess we've got into. So I think what I'm going to do with this window is paint it over and then wipe off the bits on the inside, so it's kind of blended into the background a little bit better, I think. I need some tissue for this. I think it would be easier with a bit of tissue paper. Yes, there you go, that's better. Because it's kind of buffing the collage, so getting the shiny back from the collage again. There we go. And yeah, like I say, I have no idea where this is going, so it could be a complete disaster. Or it might not be. Get a bit of a blend of the darker green. I don't want to go too dark over here because of that parrot. I don't want him to disappear into the background, but I don't want completely dark either. And yes, I'm scrubbing with my brush, but it's my pasting brush, so it doesn't matter. That's one of the reasons I started to use this one. When I fussy paint later, I'll use my proper paintbrush, but at the moment I'm just using this one. Blend that together a little bit. I'm liking the mint green better than the beige. I'm definitely liking the dark green. The combination is quite yummy. Hi, Stray. Okay, let's just clear a little bit of this off a bit. And I'm going to put a bit of green in there, but not too much, just a little bit. I don't want the pigeon to get parrot to get lost in the background there. Okay, so let's put a bit more transitional colour here. Mix the two together. A bit more dark green up the top. I kind of like this dark green frame we've got going up on, so I think I'll put a bit more darker green up here. Like I said, I have no idea where this is going. Okay, this is me playing, and not only Dee Dee's technique is not that dissimilar to mine. That I obviously, if you've been in my classes, you'll know that what I do is very similar to what Dee Dee does, but I do it with watercolour normally. I wouldn't normally do acrylic paint, and you know, I use collage, but I don't normally do it this particular way. So this is me experimenting with somebody else's technique to see what happens. Oh, I don't want green there. I'm going to rub that off. I don't want green there. I want a bit more of that mocha. Yeah, it's surprising what a bit of colour makes, isn't it? A little bit of paint. Throw it on there, see what happens. Let's take that up into there a bit. There we go. That's better. Whoops. And that's why you cover your pages with your collage with matte medium. So just get some of this a bit more blended in. Because I'm using two very light colours, I can scrub them together like this, and I won't end up with mud because they're very, very pale colours. So it's perfectly okay to mush them in together like that. Put a little bit of pale green down here. Not a lot, just a little bit. And there we go. It's looking better already. Now when Dee Dee does this, sorry, I keep mentioning Dee Dee. The reason I'm mentioning Dee Dee is because I'm playing with her technique, and I don't want to be doing this as if, you know, give you the impression that I'm doing, this is my technique that I use and here you go. I'm playing with somebody else's technique. It's very, very similar to mine, but it's not the way I normally would art journal. As you know, if you watch me, you know, I don't normally use acrylics. So that's why I keep mentioning Dee Dee. If you want to go and see how Dee Dee does it, if you want to go and see somebody do it properly, go and look up Enquiries. Where's my thing? There it is. There you go, Enquiries. That's her thing. She's on YouTube and she's on here on Ustream. She streams on Monday at 2 o'clock for the UK, and sometimes Wednesdays, Fridays, or Saturdays, depending on what she's got on. But Mondays at 2 o'clock is definitely when she does it. 9 AM, I think, her time. She's in Atlanta. I don't do time zones. You can figure it out yourself. But yeah, if you want to go and see somebody do it properly, go and watch her. I'm just asking about with somebody else's play ideas. But it was watching her doing something like this the other day that I thought, well, hang on a minute. You could do that. She was doing it in, I think she was doing it in a magazine actually, which I like the idea of. And then I thought, well, you could do that in lots of different books, any book, a coffee table book or anything really. And then this morning, having done that yesterday, I was like, could do it in my colouring book. Yay, let's play. Yeah, so here we go. So that bit's me. I had that idea this morning. I'm not saying I'm the only person who's ever had that idea. In fact, I think, did somebody mention somebody else had done it, something similar? Was that on the stream this morning? I don't know. Hi Becca, welcome back. You're all the same people who were here this morning. Did somebody mention that someone else had done something similar like this in their colouring book? Or did I dream that? Because I'm sure I'm not I can't be the only person who's had this idea. I mean, come on. So I've got my little brush out now and I'm going to fussy paint round her. Not too fussy. Doesn't have to be too fussy because I can repaint her in afterwards, but I want to get as close to her outline as I can on this, just this first coat. Have I talked about One Book December yet? No, I haven't. One Book December will be starting, funnily enough, on the 1st of December, but before that, hopefully, myself, Vicky and Carrie will be doing a little bit of a video chat with you. Oh, I might see if I can get them on here or on Google Hangouts. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Get the three of us together so you can ask us questions. Ooh, we could try that. Yeah, basically, there's more information going to be going up on, what's it called? Facebook.com/OneBookJuly, or possibly /groups/OneBookJuly. I can never remember which one it is. No, it's a page. So it'll be Facebook.com/OneBookJuly, and we'll be doing One Book Christmas. So it's not planner like with like in July. It's all about your planner and doing things. And if you know, if you're looking for something like that, Kate B TPS on YouTube, she's been doing a challenge this month to get your planner back to basics, where you're only allowed to use certain things each week. So it's a little bit like One Book July, but it's a bit more about it's a bit less about just doing your own thing and a bit more about following the challenge. Whereas One Book July is pretty open, you can do pretty much whatever you like. Kate kind of embellished it a little bit and has come up with her own challenge, and that's pretty cool. I've been watching her videos. It's quite interesting to see what she's doing with it and how it's working, so go check her out. But One Book Christmas is going to be more along the lines of what I normally do in my Christmas Chronicles class, but I'm not running my Christmas Chronicles class this year. I'm too far behind with too many things to be messing about with that this year, but I can show you how I'm doing my Christmas, how I'm organising my planning, how I'm organising my journaling, and I'm trying to get all my journaling and planning and everything else all in one book. So it's, like I say, it's similar to One Book July, but not exactly the same. Whoop. Hand spasm. Journal Artista, right. So Paula did something similar with using her colouring book as an art journal. Colouring one side and journaling on the other. Oh, so she coloured this page and then journaled this page. Oh, that's okay. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So using the blank page as an art journal page and using the other page as a colouring book page. That's a good idea too, yeah. I like that. This is a little bit different because I'm turning the whole thing into a journaling page, so I didn't think I'd imagine that somebody said someone else had done something similar. So that's Journal Artista, Paula. Incidentally, if you're in the US and you can't use my A-store, go and use Paula's A-store. If you're ordering on Amazon, if you order, you can't order through my A-store. You can go to your A-store, but I don't get any money for it. So, like, if you buy something through my A-store, I get a pittance from Amazon. Whereas if UK or EU people, I lost where I was going with that. If you're in the UK or the EU and you buy through my A-store, yes, I've got a UK A-store. It's on my site, rhomany.org.uk/blog/A-store. Or you can just go to Row Recommends at the top. If you can't see all the links, then it's because you've got your pop-up blocker on. You have to turn it off. And I haven't put my paints and things in. What I'll do, rather than trying to put all my deco art paints in all in one go, I'll put in the colours that you can get on Amazon that I've used today. So today I'll put in my 3 that I've used and my matte mediums and stuff like that. So each week you can check what's new. But yeah, if you buy through my A store, I get like 0.00003p for everything you buy. And not just stuff that I've got linked, anything you buy on Amazon. Even if I use my A store to buy stuff on Amazon myself, I get a very, very small, it's like 0.1% if I do it. But other people can buy. But if you're in the US and you want to buy my stuff, go through my A store. And then when you get to Amazon, find Journal Artista's A store and she'll get the commission. So she's sending her UK people to me and I'm sending my US people to her. I don't currently know of anyone in Australia who's got an Amazon A store or Canada. So if somebody sets up one of those, I'm surprised Courtney hasn't set one up yet, actually. Might have a word with her about that. Because she's on YouTube. I'll ask her. Thank you. Yeah, links are open if you want a link to stuff that you've been looking at. Actually, if somebody... Do you want to find the link to Paula's... I assume she did it on Ustream, did she? So there'll be a recording of it. If you want to put her link in so we can go and have a look later, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind going and seeing what she did. That's something I do like to do, actually. If I've had an idea about something and I do it, I like to go and see what other people have done. Go and see if other people have done it and see how they've done it and what differences they did. But I like to do my stuff first, if that makes sense. So after I've done this, I'll go and watch Paula's video. Because there's bound to be something in her video that I'll think, oh, I could have done that. I never thought of that. Right, so that's that. We could do with a bit more paint going on. I'd like to add a bit more pink, a bit more pale pink and a bit more dark pink. And I want to smooth out some of these areas up here because they're a bit... I just want to put in some texture, really. This is something I used to like to do with dark colours, where you put, especially if you do a colour like really bright colour, let it dry and then put a very thin wash of black over it and then wipe it off quickly, or even a dark contrasting colour. You get a really cool effect. So now that the bottom is dry, I can go back in and do a bit of that. And it just kind of gives you this, I'm not going to say distressed because it doesn't really look distressed. It looks like old wallpaper. Paula did hers about 2 weeks ago. Okay, well, it's probably either on her YouTube or her Ustream by now. So let's fussy paint around this bird now. And then I think what I'll do is I'll grab a pen or a pencil and outline him a bit. Now if I use a Sharpie, it'll probably bleed through, but I'm not overly keen on that picture anyway, so I don't really mind if it bleeds through on that one. I don't love it, so it won't matter to me if I end up painting over part of it and just keep her head or something. Because if you're going to do something like this, there's no reason whatsoever that you couldn't just keep the bit of the picture that you like. So if you really like her top half here, which I quite like this bit here, but I don't like this bit, it's too Gothic Lolita and I don't really do that. I quite like the background elements, these bits, but I don't like the umbrellas. So you could cover over those bits, but keep the bits that you really like. Oh, that was weird. My screensaver went off. I hope that doesn't mean my battery's not charging. Hang on. Oh, that's the link to it. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Now, I think I heard somebody say the other day that if you put links in, you have to take the HTTP off to make it a live link. So Tracy, if you want to repost my A-Store link, I think you have to delete the HTTP bit and just put in rhomany.org.uk from there. And then it'll be a live link, not a dead link. I think that's what somebody said. I don't know, I can't remember who said it or where. I've slept since then, people. Okay. I want to get rid of a bit more of this cogging stuff in the background. So I'm going to use, I'm not using a wash now, I'm just using the actual paint. Just want to fade it into the background. I mean, you'd have to use loads of layers to get rid of it completely, or you'd have to use a dark colour because it's pre-printed on the page. But you didn't put the HTTP, Tracy. Okay, that's weird. How did you do it, Stray? Did you put the HTTP? Maybe you do need to put the HTTP. Maybe I've got it the wrong way around. I don't know. It's been 3 years since I last streamed on Ustream. They've changed things a bit. You used to be able to use like Q:, I think it was, and you could put Q:, and say something and it would come up in bold if you wanted to ask a question or something like that. I don't know if that still works. I think you used to be able to shout as well, and I don't know, all sorts of things you used to be able to do. But like I said, that was 3 years ago. I haven't been on Ustream since, because when I swapped to a Mac, I couldn't use my Microsoft camera anymore, and that was the one that Ustream liked. It doesn't like my my camera I was using up until yesterday, or up until recently. Oh, they both work. Oh, okay. Oh dear. Okay, red herring. Ignore that. Belay that! Belay that! I don't know where I'm going with this window thing, but I like the window. Yes, I'm using my finger. Don't ask. But notice when I do it, I use my finger and then I'm straight in the water and wiping it off. The Q: doesn't work now. Okay. Right then. We're doing okay with this. I think I've got black fluff coming up everywhere. I don't know why. I can't show you my sparkly hat. If you were here this morning, you'll have seen my sparkly hat. If you were on YouTube. I can't use multiple cameras on this one, which is a shame. I like YouTube for the multiple cameras, but the streaming is a little bit dodgy, to say the least. That's There we go. A little bit of coffee. My throat's going again. Okay, what I fancy doing is adding to her. So let's do, what should we do here? What should we do? Let's grab a ballpoint pen and a pencil. Let's see if we can erase on this acrylic, shall we? Are you going to continue with Ustream in the future? I don't know. I'm literally, this is only the second time I've used it this morning. Well, no, that's not true. I used to use it 3 years ago. Back when I first started Ustreaming in like 2007, there was only me and Blade. And then a couple of weeks later, Paula started. So I think we were the first 3 really to use Ustream on a regular basis. But like I say, I stopped using it 3 years ago because it wasn't compatible with my camera. It just wouldn't recognise my camera. I do like the fact that the streams are a little bit more reliable. They don't keep jumping in and out, and I can record them at the same time. So I can do the chit chat and then I can record and have a proper YouTube video where it's not all chit chat at the beginning. But I like being able to use the multiple cameras on YouTube. I much prefer being able to, like if I'm talking to you now, I want to be able to look at you. I mean, I can't see you, okay? Yes, some of my films are still up. Not all of them, but some of them. When they did the big clear out, not long ago, they did a big clear out and you could only, they changed it to only the last 30 days, but you were allowed to select like so many extras that you could keep up. But I was actually on Ustream the previous time they did that, when they brought it down to you're only allowed so many gigabytes, because it used to be unlimited. And I had like 3, 4, 5 years worth of stuff on here. And then they said, oh, we're changing it, so you've only got so many gigs. And we all had to scramble to save our old videos. And then they had a couple of years of doing that with just, you had a set number of gigs. And then they did the same thing again, but now it's only the last 30 days of videos. So they've done it to people twice now. But now you can upload to YouTube, which is a lot better. You can just upload directly, whereas before you had to save it, record it, download it, and re-upload it, and it was a pain. It never worked. Some of my films are still up here, Claire. The ones that I decided to keep on here rather than putting them on YouTube. Mostly they're ones that have got music in the background, which I can't put on YouTube. But I don't know if I'm going to stick with Ustream or not. The ads are annoying, but they're not so annoying that it's prohibitive. And if you watch on a mobile device, you don't get ads anyway. I have never once seen an ad on a Ustream channel because I watch on my iPad, my tablet. If you're not watching on a computer, you don't get ads anyway. So, yeah, you can always watch it on your phone or something. What was it? I was going to go around this parrot here. I think he's a parrot. I want to give him a bit more of a sketchy look. Like that. Seem to have lost his beak there somewhere. Don't know how that happened. And as I always tell my students, although I think most of you watching are my students. Hi Galina. As I always tell my students, if you want to make a sketch look like it's a little less stiff, and you want your lines to look a bit better than they actually do, draw more than one line. If you are drawing something, let's say you're drawing a teapot, okay? Let me get a blank piece of paper. Have I got a blank piece of paper? No, blank piece of paper. Blank piece of paper. Come on, there must be a blank piece of paper somewhere in this house. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So I'm not teaching, but okay. If you draw a teapot and you draw it like this, and let's assume that you draw it in pencil and you fuff about with it, and then when you're absolutely happy that it's perfect, you come in and you redraw like this in ink. So then you'd have to erase what's on your teapot. Erase what the pencil, okay? So, you know. And you do it much slower than this because you want straight lines and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So there's your teapot, which of course you wouldn't do that with. That's me doing that out of habit. So there's your teapot. Look how nice and stiff that teapot looks. Isn't it lovely? Okay, now watch this. Okay, so we're gonna start with, I'm going to start with a little bit of a shape here. And we're going to go around, and I'm doing exactly the same thing, okay? So there's one side of the teapot and the other. Give it a little skirt there at the bottom. Figure out where the handle's going to go. Handle's going to go about there, I think. Teapot lid thing, trunk, whatever you call it. Oops, made a mistake there, never mind. So we'll go back over that and even it out a bit, but we'll go over a little bit heavier this time. There we go, that's better. This is a bit too thick here, and that needs to be a bit rounder there. And that needs to come down, and that's not wide enough there, so we'll put a bit of shadow in there. And like that, and oh, tidy that bit up a bit, because one side's bigger than the other, so there you go. You see, the more lines you have, the more lines your brain has to pick from, and your brain will fill in the gaps, okay? Your brain will say, that's where the line should be, so it will find a line that best fits. If you've only got one line, your brain will look at that line and go, that's not where that line should be. Oh, that's a bit out. Shouldn't be there. Oh, that's not right. Whereas if you've got lots of lines and lots of sketchy bits and lots of, you know, lots of corrections and options for your brain to look at, then it'll go, oh, well, no, I can see what's going on here. That's obviously supposed to be that bit, isn't it? That's obviously just supposed to be shadow. I just ignore that bit, you know, that's... So you get a much more realistic looking, I mean, it's still not a great teapot. The spout's massive. You get a much more realistic looking one because your brain isn't looking at, oh, but is that the right shape? Is it this? Is it that? I mean, that is completely... Even my brain's looking at that and going, what the hell were you doing there, woman? You know, let's fix that. And then well, okay, we've got loads of lines here. Well, that's okay. We'll just put some dark shading in behind it there. Like that. Doesn't matter. It's only a sketch. Nobody's going to know, are they? Nobody's going to know we're covering up crap. It looks like we meant it to be like that. See? So your brain isn't going, oh, she made a mistake there and she's covered it up. She's going, it's going, oh, look at that. There's shading behind that teapot. Whereas this one, I don't know about you, but my brain is going, that should be there. It's all lopsided because you've got no choice but to see the mistakes. If you give them lots of choices, you don't see the mistakes because your brain will pick the best fit. So that's what I'm doing with my parrot. Instead of saying, right, this is the outline of my leaf, here is how it goes. You know, if I make a mistake, you're going to see it. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Whereas if I'm sketching it, what you expect to see is a sketch. So it doesn't matter. See what I mean? Does that make sense? I hope so, because it's a neat trick. It's got some kind of something going on down here. Where's his? There's his tail. I think I'm embellishing his tail a little bit here, but I don't care. I don't have to. You don't have to follow what the collage has. You can change it up, you know. If I want to give him a bigger tail, I can give him a bigger tail. If I want to change it and give him a bit of tail coming down there, I can give him a bit of tail coming down there. He's a made-up bird anyway. It's not like he looks like a parrot to start with. Okie doke, let's grab some more paint. And I'm using a damp brush with my acrylic. Because Dee Dee said so, basically. I think it helps the acrylics spread a bit better and not stick to your brush. I'm not sure. I don't know why she says use a damp brush, but she always says use a damp brush. So I'm using a damp brush. I'm just getting rid of some of this black because it's a little bit stark. I don't want it quite so stark. Yeah, I think the water seems to help the acrylic spread a bit better, so it's not really a wash, it just kind of stops it being so thick and gloopy. There we go. Blend that out a little bit at the edges. Oops. Like so. There. Now the bird stands out a bit better. Like that. And I think what I'd like to do is finish drawing her. So, now this is going to be tricky because she's not. If you use a dry brush and paint gets pushed to the join in the brush and won't clean out so well. Oh, okay. Thank you. So it stops the acrylic getting right up into the top of this brush then. So it's basically the same reason you keep your glue brushes in water then. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so people. So your halfway point on people is kind of just below the hips. So that would be 8. So I use the 9 heads. See, she's 9 heads high. I'm not teaching you how to draw bodies, I'm just showing you what I'm doing. because I need to work out how far down I want her body to be. So her head, that's the height of her head. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 heads, see? So however tall her head is, that's the breast line, the waistline, the top of the hips, the bottom of the hips, like under the curve of your bum, mid-thigh, knees, just above the ankles. So from that I can work out how far down her waist is going to be. So she needs to be 1, 2 heads below where her chin is. So there's her head. 1, 2. So her waist is going to be about here. And her boobs come out about there at the thing. She's chunky, so I don't want to be nipping her in too much. I want her to be let's give her kind of that shape. She could be a bit lower actually. And her arm's going to be about there. Let's have her arm coming down like that. Slim her down at the front and you'll be able to see a bit more at the back, I think. So I don't want her to be skinny, I want her to be in proportion. She's a little bit long in the body, but that's okay. She'll be alright. Let's put a boob line in there. Give her a bit of a, let's give her a longer t-shirt, that'll help her look a bit more proportioned. A couple of pulls in her t-shirt there. Whatever she's wearing down there. Continuing the lines from here. And then I don't want to make too much of her arm because you're going to be drawing the back of an elbow there. That's not a good place to try and draw. But you can see she's a bit more, she's in proportion, and that's what I want. So let's finish her off up here. So we're not exactly, it's not paint over collage, it's kind of sketch over collage if you like. But I don't want to just leave it at the collage and stick it on and that's it. I want to do my own thing to it. I think she needs more hair, don't you? That's better. A bit more big hair here. She's got a strand of hair she's holding on to there. Bit of a curl. Some more hair coming down there. We can fill that in with a bit of paint. She's very sketchy with her hand. I don't want her hand to be drawing too much attention. I just want to have it in there like that, because she's pulling her hair like that. There we go. So she's slim, but she's not skinny. And in fact, I think she could even come out a little bit more at the back there. Yeah, that would work. Okie doke. I've got some bits here that are. Let me move that out of the way. I've got some bits here that aren't coloured in with paint, so I'm just going to fix those. Now that I've decided where she's going to be, I can fussy paint her a bit. There we go. This needs a bit more. That's better. Getting in the zone now. Yeah, I don't like drawing fashion models. I mean, they've got a place, you know, I've got nothing against drawing fashion models, but I prefer to draw realistically shaped women, I guess. And that's what I like about this book, because she's not that skinny either, you know, she's normal sized. If you looked at her, you'd say she's maybe, I don't know what, 12, 14. She's not a skinny, she's not like a size 0 type, you know, she's a bit chunkier. She's not fat by any stretch of the imagination, but she's not model-esque either. She's a bit more kind of normal woman sized. This girl's a little bit chunkier, but not massively chunky. Again, she's not hugely fat or overweight, but she's not got a waist that's this big either, and legs like this. I'm not big into that disproportionate sized thing very much. I think she needs a cute curl on the bottom of her hair there. Maybe we could find something to go around her wrist, like as a bracelet down here, just to draw the eye down. That would be nice. More coffee. Any questions, anyone? You love my pages. Thank you, Galina. For those who missed the beginning part, when we started collaging this is in a colouring book, and I'm using the collage and acrylic paint style technique. It's very similar to what I do with watercolours, but I don't normally use acrylic paint, and I certainly don't normally colour in the entire background either. That's quite a new thing for me, but that's what I've been watching Inkwell Dee Dee on YouTube and Ustream, and she uses a similar technique to this. Hers is a bit more, Well, no, the technique is the same. The style, her style is very kind of fantastical, sort of fantasy art. Yeah, I would definitely call it fantasy art. She likes space stuff and things like that. Whereas I like drawing people. That's what I do. I draw people. Okay, I'm going to use my. Now this is these are the Stabilo pencils. These are the aquarellable. And these ones, this is one that Claire gave me actually. Claire got paint in my hair, gave me this one. But these two are actually from back in the days when they had the Schwann stamp on. And they don't say aquarellable. Oh, they do say aquarellable on the back, but they don't say it on the front. These were back when they were owned by Schwann. So these are a bit old. I've got a white, a brown and a black. And I'm going to use that, I think, for this, because these go over anything. They're not just ordinary watercolour pencils, therefore you can use them on glass, paper, plastic, metal, you know, they're multi-surface. So this should go over matte acrylic paint, which is what this is. Just check this is dry. I do like how fast, because obviously I've not used these Americana paints very much yet. This is really my first play with them properly. I have to say I love how fast they dry. My goodness me, it's nice not to have to get your heat gun out every 5 minutes. So I think what I've decided I'm going to do with this window is sketch it in with my aquarellable pencil. Kind of, because in theory this should go over the colour paint because it's kind of an inky type pencil. Like, I don't think it's the same as let's carry that on there. I don't think it's the same as a Inktense, because those are ink, but whatever it is, it goes over everything. So let's do another beam in there, and that'll be like that, and then that can go in around her hand there. And that blends her into her background then. Let's go over this a little bit so we get a bit more of a, yeah, that should work. Okay, watercolour pen and watercolour brush. Whoops. Straight over her hair. I like how dark this is on the paint. It doesn't cover the paint properly, like completely cover it, but it does make it look, it does look very inky black. It's not just like using an ordinary watercolour pencil over acrylic paint. It really does look, I'm just going to fill that bit in black, I don't care. Yeah, it really does look quite dark, I'm liking that. And we can always add another layer once it's dry. So I like the rough rounded shape of this, like it's almost like it's made out of timber, very, very dark timber. Well, it's a window frame, so it might well be made out of wood, but do you know, like Gothic Tudor houses, like the big thick beams of black wood? That's what it reminds me of. And if we need a little bit more staying power, what we can do, because this is starting to separate a little bit on the glossy paper and the acrylic, so what we can do, a quick wash off, is we can come back in with a small brush. Oh, a masking brush will do. A little bit of matte medium. And we can use the matte medium. Didn't wet my brush. We can use the matte medium to blend the watercolour together with the matte medium and the acrylic underneath, so it'll kind of make it not movable, more permanent. Because if you see you mix the pigment with the acrylic and you get black. You basically get a black paint. I could have done acrylic paint with this, but I kind of like the translucent effect of the watercolory type medium with the gel medium. Now, I don't want that quite that heavy because that window now stands out sore thumb. So what I'm going to do while the matte medium's still dry, still wet, I'm going to just blot it out a little bit, pick up some of that colour. There we go. Wasn't very successful on that corner, so I may have to get a little bit of black acrylic after all. Oh, I might be able to use this. It's kind of shifting around. No, it's not having it. Okay, black acrylic it is. You win, okay? You win. Black acrylic. I'll get the black acrylic out. But I'm not going to put any more acrylic on there yet, because if I start working on that piece anymore, it's going to go through this piece here, because that's quite wet now. So I'll leave it, let it dry, come back to it in a minute. Okay. Did you stain your brushes, these colours? My brush is stained green. Are you all still with us? Has my chat stopped? No, it hasn't. Okay. You're all doing your own thing. That's good. It's a little bit flashed out, isn't it? There you go. You can see a little bit better what I've done with them. Still with me? Jolly good. What time are we on? Just over an hour. Oh, that's good. It's not bad. Okay. Now what? I think what I want to do is get some pink in her hair. So, what pink have we got? Razzleberry, I believe. And what's this one? Carousel. Well, the razzleberry is definitely her colour, but I want that sugar plum type pink. So let's use that one. I don't want to cover up the original colour of her hair because I really liked it. That was the point of picking the picture, but I want to blend the paint into what's there already. I don't want it to look like something we've stuck on the end as an afterthought. Oh no, that's interesting. My black pen is moving. I've never had that happen before. How peculiar. So, I want to do her t-shirt white, so I don't want that to happen with the white pen. So what I'm going to do is pick up the rest of this gel medium and just slap it over that black pen. The black, it's an interesting effect. It's almost like watercolour. But that gel medium should help stop it running when I put the paint on. It's very peculiar. I've never had that happen before. Okay. Ooh, I know. I know, she says. Miss Maddie's flat out on the sofa with all her feet up in the air. Oil pastels, soluble oil pastels, portfolio oil pastels are the bomb. Love these things. Where's my black? I really want to get them out of this box, but I don't have a box that's suitable for them. There's my black. That's what I want. There we go. There's that nice sooty look I was going for. I've got a friend coming tomorrow, and I said to her, "Is there anything you particularly want to do?" And she said, "No, I'm coming to yours for a rest." Like, okay then, colouring books it is. So we're going to have a nice leisurely lunch, and then we're going to play with our colouring books. Now this oil pastel, it's not fixed, so even though it's rubbed in, it will transfer a little bit onto the other page, and that's exactly where her face is. So what I'll do is spray it with a little bit of fixative before I close the book. I don't normally use fixative in my art journals unless I'm using oil pastel, because oil pastel will literally get absolutely everywhere. It's not too bad if you rub it in well. You can get away with just putting a little bit on. And let's try and match that grey, shall we? What colour do we need? What colour do we need? Slate grey, there we go. That should do it. A little bit of slate grey, that's a bit too blue. want a little bit of a mauvey colour to tone the blue down, like that. That should do it. There we go. That will do nicely. Now her hand's in the way here, but I can always paint over her hand with a little bit of acrylic paint and then pencil over it, so I'm not worried about losing fingers or anything. There we go. I might use pastels for her dress later, because I think this would look really good with a bit of softness in it. Maybe a bit of this. Like that. Just kind of picking out the edges of the yeah, I like that effect. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing, sorry. It won't show up very well on camera anyway, I'll have to bring it up. There we go. That's what I'm doing. So it's just darkening the colour, which is a very, very soft. I don't have HD recording, so I hope that is showing up okay. Let me check the... Oh, that's a bit better. There we go. Oh, paint in my hair. Now I'm Claire got paint in my hair. Ro got paint in her hair. Yeah, I'm just using a bit of pastel to add colour to the soft dark sections of her skirt here, where it catches the shadow. Oh, my hand's cramping up. Yeah, I like that. Darker under her hand. Give it in there. I'm not being too fussy about where I'm putting her shadows or anything. I'm just kind of looking at it and thinking, well, does that look like it's got more than one layer of material? If so, that's going to look a little bit darker. You know, like doesn't have to look exactly right. It just has to give the impression of what I'm looking for. I think that bit would be dark. I think those bits would be lighter because that is only, it's flipping up, so it would only be a little bit, I think. There we go. Maybe we could carry her on a little bit down here, smudge her out to the bottom a bit. I think I might, she really looks like she is somewhere now rather than just an image on a page. Yes, well that's the idea. I want her to be in a place, you know, she's in somewhere standing in front of a window kind of thing, rather than just, here's an art colouring page I did. Kind of setting the scene, if you like. I'm just going back over some of this with a white just to give a little bit more contrast in a few places. Obviously, if you put pink and white, you'll get 3 colours, because you'll get the white, you'll get the pink, and you'll get the pale pink that was a result of the blend. And also the pastel is helping to colour over some of her black lines, so you can't see all the lines on her dress quite as dark as they were before. Which adds to the softness of the material. Like that. So I'm just going to grab my black and do the same with her. She's got like a lace skirt on here as well. So I'm just going to carry that on down as well, but without the detail. So it's like she fades out at the bottom. And of course I'll have to put some little bit of fixative on that as well. And by fixative, of course, I mean hairspray. You're going out. Yeah, I'll probably be back about 6ish for the regular 6 o'clock show. I'm probably going to stop this in about 10-15 minutes. And then I'll come back at 6. And I think I'll probably be on Ustream because it's more reliable than YouTube. And I can keep up with the chat better because I can see what's going on. So thanks for coming, Trace. See you later. Have fun. Tracy's coming over next week. Maybe we'll get her on stream showing you what she's doing. You never know. Not bloody likely, she says. I think Claire got painting my hair is coming over next week as well. I'm not sure. Can you hear Maddie snoring in the background? Okay. I'm liking this pastel thing. I might have to do some more pastel around the top here later. See you later, Foxy. Might have to do some more green, some dark green, and maybe a little bit of black as well. That could happen. Right. Her t-shirt isn't exactly white, but it is. It's close to white. I think what I'll do is I'll mix it with a little bit of that. Ooh. Oh, that's not open because I've got a big one over here that is. Is this one open? Yes. Wondered what that was. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about there. Okay, I'm going to mix a bit of white with a bit of that mocha colour. Because her t-shirt isn't exactly white, and I think white would be too stark. Because her face isn't going to be white, I'm going to colour it in. So let's get some mixing going here. A bit of an off-white, kind of a beigey colour. Yeah, that'll do. And hopefully these black lines aren't going to smear this time because I've gone over them with matte medium. I've never had that happen before, it's so peculiar. And she's got a, I might use this floral band as the bottom of her t-shirt actually. I like that. Oh, you wondered what? Oh, the dog's snoring, right? Yeah. Do you know? Just as I looked up, you typed that. And I thought, maybe she's talking about Maddie. Yeah, that's Maddie in the background, snoring her head off. Sometimes I swear she's faking it because she literally will go like a cartoon dog. It's hilarious. A bit more of this. I want this to be a bit more opaque. I want her to stand out, and I don't want her to look odd compared to the other girl who is very, very bright, obviously. And I may go over this with a bit of pencil just to get some colour going in there properly. And because at the moment she's green, see, she's got Shrek arms. Well, we don't want Shrek arms, do we? So what I'm going to do is paint her arm white first, and then I'll go over it with some flesh colour, because I don't know what effect that green will have on the flesh tone, so it's better to have it a bit white to start with. And I'm just going to fade her out at the bottom as well. And I think I don't want her to be too bottom heavy. I want to keep the focus up here. So I think at the bottom here, to draw the colour across, I want some dark green. So I'll use my dark green pastel, and I'll do the same effect over here so it matches, but I'll bring the green across because we haven't got any really dark green over here. So yeah, I think that's the darkest green I've got. I'd like a... Oh, there's a darker green. Oh, it's a blue green though. I don't know if I want blue green. That's sage green. Let's see. So that's sage. That's bright green. And that's blue. Oh, the blue green is right, actually. The blue green is what I want. Okay. So there you go. Never know till you try, do you? So let's just smudge this in down here. So she's got some kind of skirty jeans, trousers type, what have you going on down here. She's not just a torso floating in the middle of nowhere. Because this is wax paper, it will come off, so I can wipe that off and then I can use that under my page again. I just need to wipe my finger off because I'm getting covered in ink. I'll have to go and wash my hands in a minute. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to add a little bit of sage to it just to give it a little bit more depth on the edges. I'm going to put sage all around it, just on the edges to bring it out a bit. Like that. There we go. Marvellous, Marvin. Your cats like the sound of my voice. Oh, hello, Andrea. Hi. Haven't seen you for a while. Andrea, dark horse there, is, I think, after Poe, Lucy Poe, Nina, if any of you know Poe, Poetic Dreams. Everybody knows Poe. Everybody in the mixed media world knows Poe. After Poe, I think she's my first subscriber on YouTube and my first student. We were the first two people to ever sign up to my classes and sign up to my YouTube. And I think Eveline was the third. Right, so that's where we're up to now. What's going on here? What have I done there? I don't know what I've done there. Oh, my green paint's dried. Come on, a little bit. Only one a little bit. There we go. Don't know what happened there. Let's see, is this pink still viable? Oh, just about. We just about caught it in time. This acrylic paint drying on the mats, it doesn't matter because it peels off. It literally goes like plastic and it peels off. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And you are one of only about 12 students that's done every single one of my classes, including the ones that aren't even available anymore. Foxy's another one. She's done all my classes. And Lucy, obviously. I'm going to need a bit more of the pink. Wasn't quite fast enough. It's dried up. I need a little bit though. We're going old school today, Andrea. Back to playing with acrylic paints and collage. And that weird noise is Maddie. The weird grunty Darth Vader type noise in the background, that's Maddie. I'm not liking those tights. I'm going to have to do something about that. There we go, that's better. That's covered over that black. I'll do a little bit more up there actually. Make this a bit more vibrant. That's better. Like I said, I don't want to cover over what's already there, I just want to blend it in. So paint over it and then knock it back. Because it's got matte medium on it, you can wipe it off fairly easily, even once it's dry. Get a little bit of water on it. There we go. I kind of like that random curl in the middle there, that's a different colour. Oh, you're working on Helen's book? It's a good colouring book, that one, isn't it? She's done a great job on that. That's Helen Asia Art on Facebook. She's got a colouring book out. I don't have mine to hand right now because I've got it in my bag. I carry it around in my handbag. It's only a little A5 book. But you'll find her on Etsy under Helen Asia. Helen Asia Art. And I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago where I coloured in one of the pieces. It's a fab little book. She's done all the illustrations herself. She's a really good artist. Right, there we go. So that's where we're up to with that now. Just going to put my colours away because I don't need them now. I'm done with that bit. Now, traditionally, normally what people do now is, you know, they dry it off with a heat gun and then they go back in and they finish off the next bit that they want to do. But I kind of don't want to do that. I want to leave her for a bit. I want to think about where I want to go next, decide what I want to do. And there you go, a bit of water and all that comes off. Isn't it fab? Love these mats. Yeah, I don't want to be... I don't like to sit and just, right, I'm going to finish this page all in one go kind of thing. I like to work on bits and pieces. I get bored if I'm trying to work on one thing all the time. I would finish this page and then I'd be like, right, I'm done for the day. So I think what I'll do, while I've got my collage bits and things out, I will leave this to stew for a little while. Now she's dry, I can go back in with my pen again. And just, now shall I use pen or shall I use pen? No, I use pen. So I just want to put her shape back in again. Again, I want to find like a bangle or a bracelet or something, I think, to put on her there. And I can come back into this with a bit of pencil, colour pencil later. Yeah, you can't write over wax with a ballpoint pen. There we go. Should know that by now. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with her so far. Definitely quite pleased with her so far. She's coming along. And like I said earlier, if you keep the bits, the details a little bit sketchy, your brain will fill in the bits and it won't matter that some of your lines are not quite right. So that's her on the blank page. She started off as just a head and a parrot. And that's the watercolour one. That's the actual page from the colouring book with some collage. The window wasn't there before. Obviously she's not finished yet. But that's watercolour painting, and to be honest, I don't want to do that on camera. I'm playing with textures and things. I want to get her jacket to look like it's leather, and I want her gloves to look satin and lace, and I want her hat to look like satin. I want her hair to look like dreads. I don't want to be fussy about with that on camera because you won't see it anyway. So I think what I'll do is put that one aside for a while. We're at an hour and a half, so I think I might stop it there with this one, and then at 6 o'clock I'm coming back with the regular show. This has just been playtime today. At 6 o'clock I'll come back with the regular show and we'll work on the wolf page, which is this one in my... for those of you who weren't here earlier and haven't seen the previous recording, this is my Dilutions journal, my Diane Reevely journal. Obviously you saw those I did on camera. That's a work in progress. It's just a bit of collage and spray ink at the moment. This is almost, well, it's not almost finished. It's about, I'd say it's about 50% done. This one is the one I want to work on because I've got all these bits that go really well with it. Do you know that goes really well with it as well? That matches her top, look. I like that. I might leave that one that way round. I've got these bits. In fact, let's... just while I think of it, because if I don't do it now, I won't remember later. So that goes with... I could maybe go on her hat up there. Something, and then these bits go with the colour of the wolf, which is the colours that I want to use in the background. I don't know if that much might be a bit too much, but if it is, we can always, you know, we can always turn it over and use it the other way. But while I'm just looking at it and thinking, oh, hang on, those colours look the same. And I think this is going to be on a black background anyway, so that won't look too stark. It's currently 1:45 my time, and I'll be back at 6 my time. So you're East Coast, aren't you, Andrea? So I think you're 5 hours different. So I think if you're Eastern time, it would be 1 o'clock. Well, no, if it Eastern 6 o'clock here is Eastern time 1 o'clock. So work it out from there, because it's always easier to work it out from Eastern time, isn't it? So yeah, I think I'll play with this one later. And I found these birds, and I just kind of, I don't know, there's something about those birds that kind of makes me think they need to be on this page somewhere, but I don't know. I'll have to, what I need to do is leave that out on the desk so I can see it. And at some point while I'm futsying around doing lunch and things like that, so it'll come to me what I want to do with those birds. They might be a bit too busy for this page. They might have to go on a page on their own with a different wolf. But I've got a whole book of wolves here. This is a beautiful book. This is a coffee table book. It's a diary of a expedition by Candice Savage, and it's years old, this book. What year is it? It's got to be 80s or 90s, because it was a gift from my grandmother. 1989. My grandmother gave me this. She's not with us anymore. And it's got sentimental value because she was the one who recognised that I was always into wolves, which obviously are my spirit animal. But the book has been sitting on the shelf for years, and occasionally I pick it out and I flick through it like this. But, you know, I read it cover to cover. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And now I'm like, well, it's just sitting there, but I don't want to give it away because it's sentimental value. So what I thought was maybe I could use some of the imagery from it, either as reference material or even, you know, to take him out and put him in my journal. See him with those birds. Now I'm getting sidetracked again. Tangent! What is he says? Light bulb. I kind of feel like these birds should have fairy lights on them. But see, those birds go with him. Maybe that's what I need. I need him and those birds. I like him. He's pretty and he's snowy and he's just lovely. But I'll lose his head then. So I'll have to take a photograph of him before I take the page out. But yeah, this book is just sitting on the shelf doing nothing because it's got sentimental value. So if it's got sentimental value, why not use it in my art, right? And then it's got a purpose again. Ooh, those are beautiful. So maybe those birds need to go on a different page. With a different wolf. Some of the pages are not very, they're not fluffy pages because it was an actual, you know, actually following a wolf pack through a whole year, I think she spent with them. So obviously not everything is pleasant, but there are some really lovely pictures in here. Ooh, I like those two. I like that. That might have to be another page. I like those running wolves with the birds flying in a different direction. It makes because the birds are going that way and the wolves are going that way, it makes your eyes go that way, so it makes the wolves look like they're going faster. If that makes sense. Anyway, we'll play around with that later. Let's just flick through. Oh, look at him. Isn't he beautiful? Now, see that page? I'd quite happily just take it out and frame it. He's gorgeous. He is absolutely... Oh, he's beautiful too. So that page, I'd probably just take it out and frame it and have him there. And then when I got a bit bored looking at him, I'd just turn it over and put him in. And then, you know. That's beautiful. He's big fluffy. Oh, I miss my gypsy girl. She's doing well though. She's enjoying her. She's enjoying finding her inner dog. For those of you who don't know, the lady who fostered her when I moved has actually adopted her. So she's staying with her now, which is really good. I'm pleased about that because she was so happy there. And she's got a great life. She's, you know, she's running in streams and going on hikes, and they go on 8 and 10 mile walks every week and all that kind of stuff. Oh, those are pretty. Not on that page, but I'll probably use them somewhere later. Whoops. And I broke my collage bag. Yeah, she is doing really well. She's Jan said if she was moved again, she wouldn't cope with it very well because she's too highly strung, basically. She was getting out of hand when I had her, like really out of hand. She was quite vicious at times because she was getting overprotective of me. She was fine while she needed me, and she needed me to keep her kind of keep her confidence up. She was fine. As soon as she gained her confidence and she was like, okay, I'm in charge now, and she started turning on people. I couldn't have that, obviously, and she was fighting with the other two. So it kind of all came together at the same time, because that was when I found out that I was moving and everything else, and I was having trouble finding somewhere that would take her, but they'd take the two little dogs. So I put her into foster, and she just, within days, she was less stressed out. But she's still anxious. She still tries to be the boss. She still tries to eat the mailman. She's not happy about men at all. She doesn't like men being around her at all, but she loves being around other big dogs and women. And Jan is an older lady who's on her own. She's got several Alsatians already. She goes on walks with her group. She's got like a walking group together, and they've all got big dogs, and they're all female, so they all go out together and go walking around the woods and everything. So it's ideal for her, really. She doesn't have much stress in her life, and she's not like I live in a town. Jan is out in the middle of nowhere. She lives in the middle of the woods, basically. So it's really good for her. She doesn't have to... It is perfect for her. She doesn't have to deal with lots of people. She doesn't have to deal with the stress of people walking past outside and cars and all that, because it's really quiet where Jan lives. It's like a little lane in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, she's really loving it. But Jan knew that she wouldn't be able to move on to somebody else again. It would put her back again. So she said, I'll keep her. So I'm really happy, really pleased that she's staying with Jan. Jan's doing a great job with her. And Jan's got a lot of experience. It's not like she's just somebody who's got a few German Shepherds. She used to run a rescue. She used to run a German Shepherd rescue. She used to do dog training. She's worked with police dogs and all sorts, from what I can gather. So, yeah, she's really experienced. She's not green about having a German Shepherd in any way. So I had experience of German Shepherds. I had experience of rescue dogs. I still didn't quite have enough experience to keep Gypsy in tow, whereas Jan seems to be keeping her under wraps, which is great. So I'm very happy about that. I should have stopped the recording before I went rambling on about my dog, shouldn't I? But never mind. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I'll be back at 6.